how to communicate as a leader in terms of crisis, right? So how do you do that? Now we all know, if you are a leader, crisis situations are inevitable, because we know how things move rapidly, how things change rapidly, like especially in growing organizations, fast moving or the fast growing organizations. There will be challenges, there will be crisis, and it will be more often. For an organization which is growing slow, right, at a steady growth, the challenges might be less, the situations where they get into crisis might be less. But organizations which are growing at a rapid pace, the crisis also will be more, right? It will be very often. But one thing for sure, whether it's a slow moving organization, fast moving organization, whether it's a small organization, big organization, crisis situations are inevitable in leadership. But the way a leader communicates during these times can significantly improve the outcomes and the perception of people. So how do you effectively communicate so that you can take care of the concerns, you can provide more clarity and pave the way forward? Because in crisis, you also need to always show the forward, the moving forward. What is it, right? The future picture. And in this particular video, I'm going to share with you some of those steps or the tips that can help you to communicate in times of the crisis, especially the leadership communication. What are the things? Number one, be prompt and proactive. Now, whenever there is a crisis situation, it's important for a leader to be proactive, because if you are able to be proactive as a leader and share the information with your audience, with your employees, with your team members, it is good because it's coming from you. Because any direct communication coming from you will reduce a lot of rumor. Otherwise, what will happen? There is a lot of rumor going around, right? There is a lot of misinformation that is spreading. So, right, all of these confusions will happen if you are not proactive, if you are not able to share proactively of what is happening, right? In being prompt and proactive, it is also about knowing the pulse of audience, knowing the pulse of your employees, what is going around, right? And it's important for you to actually update them. Sometimes you might not have all the answers because you have entered into the crisis in situation. You might not have the answers, but it is not all about the answers. It's also about acknowledging the situation. If you know as a leader that the organization is in crisis situation, right, acknowledging that situation, right, and updating the team about the situation makes the team more aligned towards you, makes the team trust you. So it is very important for you as a leader to be prompt and proactive in this situation. What is number two? Step number two is to maintain alignment with the vision. See, we all know that organization which has a clear vision and mission, right, they will go a long way. They will be successful in the long run journey because they have the clear picture of where they want to go. What is their big picture? What is the vision? And the competent employees or the A players or the people who are like challenging personalities, right, people who have great potential, these kind of employees will be working for you not only for money, but they will be driven by a purpose because they want to do meaningful work, and they feel their work is meaningful, and they feel that there is a purpose attached if you have a vision and a mission. So what you can do is, in terms of challenging situations or times as a leader, it's important for you to align back everything to the vision. Whatever steps you are taking in the crisis situation, your actions, if you can align back to the mission and the vision, it becomes easy for people to understand why are you taking certain actions, because you're always showing the vision, the mission, the people are aligned to, right? And if you attach your actions, if you connect your actions with that, people will be able to understand it better, right? And again, in terms of crisis situations, we all know crisis brings often a lot of change, right? Change in feelings, change in perspectives and all of it. But if you are able to show again the big picture, because as a leader it's important for you to again and again remind your employees of the vision, because at times they will be so engrossed in the goals, in the small tasks, that they forget what is the big picture, what is the vision, what is the mission, right? So for you, in especially crisis situations, it's again important for tie everything back with the vision, with the mission, with the big picture, so that people will feel aligned. People know why we are doing certain things, because you know that where you are heading. And if people are connected with that, it's easy for you to navigate that situation. And then comes number 3. Step number 3 is be transparent. See, as a leader, you need to be transparent in your communication, right? You need to be able to share what you know with the organization, right? And even at times when you have you don't have certain answers, it's okay to be authentic, it's okay to be transparent and say, this is the situation where we are landed and we are working on this, right? When we come up with a strategy, we are going to share it with you. There might not be an immediate strategy that you have, but it's important for you to enroll your employees, enroll your team members in this. So for that, if you have to build trust, you have to be transparent, right? And at times, transparency, right, will not come only when you are sharing certain things that are happening good, right? When you talk about transparency, you need to talk both about the good and the bad things, right? What is going good, what is not going good. You need to be open and transparent about sharing this. And you can be transparent about how you are actually looking at something that is available in terms of the options, or something that's not yet seen as an option, right? It involves discussing the challenges with your team, because when you are sharing that, it also involves discussing the challenges with your team openly. It also involves discussing about the uncertainties you see, and also the failures, right, that have happened. Because with all this sharing, when you are sharing this transparently with your team members, with your employees, it builds a lot of trust. And whether situations are challenging, tough, or crisis situations, team will stay aligned with you, team will stay connected with you, right? And what is step number 4? Step number 4 is show empathy and compassion. See, whatever situation company is, whatever challenging times that are going on, but you cannot stop to show empathy to people. You cannot stop to be compassionate with people. Yes, of course, there will be challenging times, crisis times, when you will have to take tough decisions. But yes, you still need to be like somebody who is actively listening, right? Because empathy, first step in empathy is listening to people, right? Also, we all know that everyone will have different associated fears and challenges, right, and emotions when it comes to crisis. You able to recognize those fears, talking to them about that, and understanding each and everyone has different kinds of emotions around it, and connecting with them and showing that empathy and compassion is very important, right? And in empathy and compassion, it's also about kindness. Act with kindness, right? The small acts of kindness with the employees can change the entire game, right? When I'm talking about all of this, show empathy and compassion, yes, it is important for you to show empathy and compassion, but as a leader, you need to be tough as well, right? You need to know as well, where do you need to show that compassion and empathy, and where do you need to be strong and tough in taking certain decisions. Because in crisis situations, if you are playing safe, if you are playing likable, right, then your company will not come out of the situation, your company will continue to be in the situation. I remember I was working for one of the top product companies in the world, right? It was a few years back when I was working in this company. I saw a leader taking very tough decisions, right? The company was going through the crisis situation, the products were not really selling well, they were losing a lot of clients, right? The regular clients that they had, they were losing, and there were new people who were coming up in the marketplace, small companies which were able to acquire some big customers. So a lot of crisis and challenging times were there, and this leader on one side was compassionate and shared with the employees the big picture, the vision, and also he was transparent to share what is happening inside the company, how we are going through certain tough times, and how we need to be adaptable and agile in learning new technologies, embracing new things, the change and everything, right? And he was compassionate with people, but he had to be tough with certain people, because even after he sharing all of this, certain people remained in the comfort zone. They did not step up to help the organization move forward. The organization was in crisis time, but they were all looking at their personal goals and they were not actually stepping up to help the organization grow or to come out of these challenging times. And the leader had to take that tough call to let them go. And when he took that tough call, it helped the organization to grow. Of course, it took some time for the organization to grow back at the rapid pace, but he was able to stop the destruction by taking certain important decisions. So when we talk about empathy and decision, it's also important to understand where and to whom and how do you show that, right? It cannot be for everyone every time. Right? Then comes the use clear and consistent messaging. As a leader, your messaging should be clear. Think of this: in crisis time, if you are not able to communicate clearly, if you are giving a message which is not clear, then it will create more confusions, it will create more ambiguity, right? You might be having in your mind that you want to actually make people get along with you, but if your messaging is not clear, then people will move away from you. So communication in terms of clear and consistent messaging is important, and you need to give that consistent updates if there is certain thing that's happening, because in crisis situations there would be a lot of changes that might be happening, right? There would be a lot of initiatives that would be taken, there would be a lot of things that would happen in terms of like to take care of the situations, but you need to be regularly updating through consistent messaging, because when you do that, people will feel again connected, people will feel trusted, right? And people will feel that they are part of this bigger picture and they are also in this together, right? That's the way to involve people in this problem, in this challenge, in this crisis, right? So when you are able to build that clear and consistent messaging, it builds trust and people will come together during the crisis situation. And then the next one is engage in two-way communication. Whatever timing, especially in the crisis timings, it's not time to hold back. It is time for you to open up the channels of communication, especially taking feedback, right? Because if there is a crisis situation, right, you know there is a crisis situation, but you need to understand what are the things that might have created this gap. How do we fill this gap? And you might have people from various experiences, various levels, various kinds of knowledge that they would have acquired or skills. Don't you think they will come up with different ideas? Don't you think they will come up with certain things that they will come and share with you so that it can solve the problem? See, you cannot do it all alone, right? Whoever you are as a leader, right, you cannot do it alone, you need to take people along. So that's where it's important to engage in two-way communication. Open up channels for communication so that people can communicate with you. Again, it depends. It can be the channels where they can do a one-on-one discussion with you. It can be a channel where it can be a group communication that can be done with you, right, in a group meeting. It can be channels where they can write a message to you, right, a direct message to you. It can be channels where they can email you. These channels of communication and engaging in two-way communication is very crucial in terms of the crisis times, because again, when you open up these channels, you get ideas, right? You get ideas from multiple people, different ideas, and you filter out those ideas. See, at the end, as a leader, you have the power to make decision, but think of it, you may not have hundreds of ideas which your team can bring in, right? You may not know all the gaps that are there in the organization which your team members can bring in. So open up that channel and engage in two-way communication. That's very, very important. And the last one is show leadership and resolve issues. See, crisis situation, where do people move? Where do people go? Whom do they look up to? They look up to a leader. A leader, a true leader, is somebody who stands tall and strong in crisis situation. Right? जंग में तो ऐसे मतलब मैदान छोड़ के तो कोई भी भाग सकता है. Right? When there are difficult situations, when there are good situations, anybody can prove to be a great leader. Right? But that's not a great leadership, right? अच्छे टाइम में तो in good times anybody can do it, but in challenging times, in tough times, it's a true leader, it's a great leader, it's a legendary leader who can stand tall and strong, who can take everything that's coming and who can solve the issues. So become that leader who people are looking up to, right? In the times of adversity, teams will definitely look forward to you to stand tall, right? And go ahead and stand in front, right? It is not okay, it is not good as a leader to stay in silos, right, and to stay away from teams. It is time for you to come front and talk to the teams. It is time for you to actually build that relationship and show leadership, so that people can know that you are standing tall and strong in front, so that you can resolve the issue, right? And empower and trust your team members. It's very important during crisis times. You empower your team members, right, by maybe delegating certain things. As I told, one of the things might be the feedback that you are getting, but the other thing is delegate certain things, right? Because in crisis situations there are a lot of things that might happen, there are a lot of changes that might be happening, there are a lot of initiatives. So delegate these to the team members, empower team members, and also empower the stakeholders. How can you empower the stakeholders? Even a simple communication from your side, going with that empowering message, going with that acknowledgement that yes, we are going through challenging times, but let me ensure that our services will still remain the best. We are going to ensure that you are not affected by any ways, and we are going to still serve you and give you more during these times. So that's empowering your stakeholders. But empowering team is by giving them more tasks, by trusting them more, delegating more. That's how you do it. And also empowering team, showing leadership, right, and resolving things is when you show leadership, it is also about acknowledging the concerns, the focus on the solutions, right, and also the hope that you give. See, in challenging times, in crisis, right, you don't talk negative, you don't talk what has happened bad, right? If you talk that, that means you are actually showing them what has gone wrong, right? You are showing them the negative side. But as a leader, you need to show the path forward. You need to give them hope. You need to give them, where are we moving ahead? How is the future going to look bright, right? If you are able to do this, then you will be seen as a leader which people will see, wow, right? Challenging times are there, crisis times are there, but then my leader is there who is standing strong and who is showing me the hope. Because like if you see some of the examples of leadership again from sports as well, right? As a captain, when you see some team has scored heavily, high score, and you come out as a captain and you say ये तो बहुत बड़ा score है, this is a very challenging task, this is a big score, I don't think so we can do it. Or you not, you talking negative there and you actually disempowering your team. But on the other side, you standing tall as a leader, right, and you saying that we have hope, we can do it, right, and you motivating and inspiring team, and then showing them the big picture and telling them this is how we are going to do it, and show them the positive side and give them the hope. That's how you can become a great leader, and you can take the team along, whether it is easy times, tough times, challenging times, or crisis times. I hope these steps can help you to summarize in crisis situations how to communicate in times of crisis, especially as a leader, is these 7 points. Number one, be prompt and proactive. Number two, maintain alignment with the vision. Number three, be transparent. Number four, show empathy and compassion. Number five, use clear and consistent messaging. Number six, engage in two-way communication. Number seven is show leadership and resolve. I hope this helps you. And if you think this is helpful, continue watching more. Continue to follow me on social media, because I'm Fatah Khan, a mid career transformation coach out there on a mission to transform 10 million lives by helping mid career professionals to transform into legendary leaders. If you want to be a legendary leader, continue following. And yes, together we can create great leaders who can navigate all the crisis times or the easy times or any time, and then continue to create impact in this world. So thank you for listening to me, and if you find this helpful, do share with others so that others can also get this knowledge and get the practical steps, so that they can also resolve challenges during crisis times and become a legendary leader. Thank you for that. Thank you each and everyone for watching, and have a great time.